Hello everyone, Kane Abel here, and we are back with part 3 of Neo Scavenger on mobile. Let's just hop right on into it, pick up where we left off, see if we can't get a little bit of progress going. Okay. Switch this over to our spear. Yeah, stab. Ooh, we're very hungry, very thirsty, it appears. Okay, we got edible berries. Edible mushrooms, these are not. Get them out of the way. Okay. Dawn. Alright, let's end our turn. Let's get up here to this forest. Scavenge. See if we can't get some more no useful items. That sucks. Oh! What was that? Really scary was what that was. I think that was a dog man. We slipped down a slope. Our cut isn't doing too great. We really need water, so let's just drink that. Hopefully it won't kill us. End our turn. Come up here to this stretch of forest. Scavenge. Awesome. Those are poison. Those are edible. Those are poison. Okay. Seems like a great way to get like diarrhea or something. Just eating nothing but berries. End our turn. Right here. Nothing too super great. Let's scavenge. Ugh, our arm was scratched. Oh, what? Okay, Zombs? As the source of the distant sound finally comes into view, you stop in your tracks, unsure whether it's safe to continue. Ahead you see a titanic warehouse, like one of those distribution centers from before the apocalypse. There's a dull roar of ethanol generators combined with the occasional rev of unsuppressed exhaust from off-road vehicles. Figures seem to be milling around a low extension on the right, and the occasional ATV arrives or departs without fanfare. You don't think you've been spotted yet. This far out, though, with all the activity, it's hard to tell. Well, we have some binocs. Reconnoiter the warehouse from afar. Peering into the distance, you see a bright sign reading Zomzoms, a place to eat, hanging over a giant garage door. Fenced off behind a tarp and barbed wire, bright lights, welding arcs, and peculiar shadows can be seen in a fenced area, and more lights from within the warehouse. A semi A semi-trailer attached to one of the loading bays acts as a makeshift gate and pedway into the warehouse. Ragged-looking figures line up alongside the trailer, watched over by armed mercenaries. It looks more like a club than anything else, except for that tarp area. Then you see it, a truck on the other side, offloading prisoners or slaves of some sort. That doesn't bode well, but then again, people come and go freely everywhere else, and are entering voluntarily through the pedway. Should we approach the line? I mean, I guess so. While in line, you feel a flutter of anxiety each time the line advances. With each step, you try to catch a glance of what's through the doorway in the trailer, but you still can't tell. Most of the people in line are ragtag looking, wearing mismatched clothes and stinking of sweat. Some confused, others bored. The guards are better groomed by comparison, though you suspect they'd just as sooner murder you for your clothes if they weren't being paid. Up a few wooden plank steps, you step inside the semi-trailer, and hollow sounds of a crowd echo down the narrow corridor from the warehouse. To your right is a chipboard and mesh booth where an attendant is collecting fees and weapons and stamping people before they walk down the trailer into the warehouse. Stock or spectator, the attendant drones, looking disinterestedly past you. Stock or spectator? What? I'm honestly not even 100%. I'm not sure what they're even asking me here. Stock? Let's pick spectator. We're just gonna watch. What you got? Looking behind her, you see ice slabs, shoes, and sundry items. It looks like there are definitely some items they'll accept more than others, at least today. Well, let's give him the gun. You offer your item, which she stashes in a metal locker. Hand, she demands. Reaching for a stamp, as you present your hand, she applies a symbol and number, then nods to another grizzly merc who checks you for weapons. He tosses your confiscated items into a numbered bin and ushers you down the trailer. Inside, it's 1 part superclub, 1 part gladiator pit. A wall of sound assaults your ears as you cross the threshold. Part human cacophony, part generator exhaust, mostly frenetic industrial music, and the smell of food and smoke. You can't hear it over the noises, but you feel your stomach rumble at the smell of sweet barbecue. The cavernous warehouse is dominated by a dirt floor arena with high mesh walls. Spectators ring the pit on 3 sides, the 4th reserved for a large garage door leading outside into the tarp fence courtyard. Beyond the door, you catch the flash of welding arcs, where it appears scrapyard robots are being prepped. And opposite the garage door, the thing you really care about right now, a wide booth with grills, spewing sweet and spicy smoke into the rafters above. People clamor to get at it and walk away with their prize smeared over hands and lips alike. Barbecue. We ate Zom's barbecue. Okay, well that's good. At least we're not hungry anymore. Achievement unlocked. A place to eat. Cool. You wade through dirty patrons intent on manhandling some ribs or beans and rice or whatever it is they've got cooking over there. Who knows how long you've been in cryo? How long it's been since you've had a hot meal? Pressing your way through the final wall of hungry patrons, you get an elbow on the counter and desperately try to make eye contact with one of the servers. A few eternal minutes later, one of the apron-clad food slingers glances at you and you nod like an excited dog. He reaches into a smoker box, withdraws a loaded skewer, and places it in your hand. Sweet, succulent barbecue. Savoring it at first, you start to grow paranoid that it'll be snatched from your hands, and you bear down on it with renewed fervor, huddling it with it against your lips as you absently walk away from the grill. This meat. It's like good, fully developed veal. Not young, but not yet beef. Yes, very definitely like that, and not like any other meat you've tasted. In fact, so much so that you think no person with a palate of ordinary, normal sensitiveness could distinguish it from veal. It is mild, good meat, with no other sharply defined or highly characteristic taste, such as, for instance, goat, high game, and pork have. The steak is slightly tougher than prime veal, a little stringy, but not too tough or stringy to be agreeably edible. The roast is tender and in color, texture, smell, as well as taste. Strengthens your certainty that all of the meats you habitually know, veal is the one meat in which this meat is accurately comparable. So, I think we just ate people meat. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think we just ate people meat. I think we just cannibalized some people. Just then, an announcer pipes up with that some oscillating voice every strip club DJ seems to have. He starts hyping the crowd. Can you count? Suckers! He shouts. Patrons start yelling back. I said, can you count? Suckers! On cue, a testosterone-fueled wave of shouts comes from the floor. Raise those numbers, he calls with expectation, and everybody raises their fists in unison. The music changes. Light switch to UV, and numbers appear on all the stamped hands. Your heart starts to race as you realize what's happening. Hang on just 1 second, everyone. I'm really sorry about that. I've been feeling a little under the weather and been coughing a lot. I'm trying to keep it down and walk over there. Looking around, everyone has a stamp. Most like yours. They all have numbers, but it's clear now what the symbols are. Patrons like you have silhouettes of vultures next to their numbers. Those unlucky few who don't have lambs. The announcer calls a number, a low number. Feeling somewhat relieved, you raise your hand above your head. Patrons around you look up to it for a moment, then continue scanning the crowd. A scream of protest erupts from the far side of the arena. Everyone nearby looks across where a commotion is starting. A young man is hoisted into the air like a crowd surfer at a concert and propelled to the arena gate. Patrons claw the remainder of his barbecue from his flailing hands, fighting over it like dogs. Guards wrangle the struggling man and toss him onto the dirt floor in the arena, and the gate is sealed behind him. The winner is a filthy, weak, and confused-looking human as he clambers to his feet and clocking and squeaking sound crescendos from the opposite side of the arena. Cheers start erupting through the warehouse as the source of the noise rolls into the arena through the garage door. The bot is little more than a heavy treaded ring of barbed spikes. A haphazardly hung LED ticker sits atop its mass, flickering the words Morning Star, confirming your suspicions as to its nature. Without pausing, the bot starts closing in on the human who, to his credit, has given up rattling the gate and is now facing the more immediate danger. He starts circling left, leading the bot to one side of the pit, then dashes right as far as he can, bypassing the bot. The move buys him a few seconds as the bot spins in place on its treads, but he ends up in the same situation on the reverse side of the arena. This continues for a few laps with the human visibly wearing down. Perhaps realizing his error, he switches tactics and leads the robot towards a support column and allows it to get close before ducking around behind it. The bot starts turning in place, but the tread gets hooked on the pillar, and for a moment it appears to be stuck. You can sense the tinge of hope in the man as he watches the bot rock to and fro for several seconds. However, the bot's rocking eventually frees it, and it turns to face him again. Crestfallen, the man returns to his original strategy of dodging the robot like a bullfighter, even more slowly each pass. It doesn't take long for the robot to wear down its already weakened prey, and it scores its first hit, trampling his leg under treads. The man's cry of pain is lost in a wave of cheering from the crowd. As the robot backs up, the man hardly has time to limp before it rams him again, this time following through and impaling him against the wall. Drunk with bloodlust, the crowd is now screaming as the robot backs away once more from the stumbling, bleeding man. The bot rams him into the wall one more time and backs away, this time with a human stuck in its spikes. The crowd cries out in ecstasy, which eventually simmers down to a rabble as the arena service personnel remove the entrails. Ugh. Your mouth agape. You suddenly feel a wave of nausea. You begin looking around. Panic. Okay, so that was just a thing. We can see what happens next. Or we can try to leave. Let's just see what happens next. Unsure what to do next, you look around the room anxiously waiting for something to happen. Word is, you've got a good medical plan. The voice startles you, even amidst the shouting crowd, and you turn to find a young man with an old face. A young man with an old face? How does that even work? I don't understand. A young man with an old face? He looks to be of Asian descent with hair like a mop, big aviator glasses, and probably white fur coat. Relax. I don't work here. In fact, I'm going to try to make sure you don't either. Come on. He turns and heads toward the garage door. Since that's away from the arena's human-sized gate, you decide to follow. You get the sense he's a patron too, or at least not with the management, as neither guard nor patron seems to pay him much attention. A little bird told me, he shouts over the crowd music, you might know a thing or two about cryogenics. He talks over his shoulder as he walks, as if tossing words your way. I know a guy who's looking for some heavy-duty cooling units. He may be willing to trade for some info on where to score a few. You arrive at the massive garage door, and the cool air seems tinged with ozone. His name's the Stoat. Come on, dude. I'll introduce you. Out in the robot prep yard, mechanics are tending to their creations. Your companion stops alongside a tall robot, reminiscent of a farm combine. You shudder to think what it does to a human with those blades, but then something inside moves. Crawling out the feeder house behind the blades is a mechanic who looks around and, satisfied, waves another out. The second looks more like one of the patrons than a mechanic, starved and scared. The pair skulk along the fence line and disappear out of sight. Fur coat guy turns back to you with a proud yet devious grin on his face. The Stoat is pleased to make your acquaintance. Now, about that medical plan. He suggestively taps his wrist. Okay, so if we want, we could give him the bracelet. But I'm pretty sure that is probably not a good idea because medical bracelets, they have your name, they have your birth date, they have, a lot of vital information about you that you might not want to share. So, instead of giving him the bracelet, what else can we do here? We can just give him the info, basically just tell him where it is, or about that trade. Let's just give him an info. Let's just tell him where it is. That way, we don't have to give up our name, or possibly who we are, or where we are, or any of that. Unsure whether you want to give up the strap, you self-consciously fidget with it a moment. Then read it over once more. Instead, you decide to share the facility address, but keep your name to yourself. Smart, he says, tapping the side of his head with his index finger. You're a smart dude. Tell you what. He pulls a box out from under a flight case near the combine bot. Here. He opens the box. Unclaimed, lost, and found, let's say. As for me, I may have to check into your fancy clinic soon. I think I'll come down with a little something. Let's confirm. He looks over your shoulder. Oh, also, you'll probably want these back. You turn and see a familiar face from the front gates. He drops your checked items in a lockbox. You cast a glance back at the Stoat, and he shrugs. What? I can't do this alone. Your safest bet is to go along the fence where they went. He thumbs over his shoulder, indicating the route the mechanic and patron followed. Unless you're still hungry. He laughs, mocking a vomiting motion. See you around, dude, he calls over his shoulder, walking back to the warehouse. So, yeah, apparently that stuff we ate was bad. I don't know how that's going to affect us, like, in the game. Stoat's friends wait as you gather your things from the lockbox. Better make sure you empty that locker while you have the chance. Once ready, you head along the fence back to the relative sanity of the wasteland. Oops, I forgot that was on. And we just took a painkiller. Ooh. Okay, now we need to kind of make a choice. We can either take the gun, which is worth, you know, come on now. Why won't you? I'm over here. I don't know, but we can take this bag instead. Which I think is what we're going to do. Because we need something to boil water with. We need some way to get clean water. Because we have no way to do that right now. And we'll take this other shoe, I think. Yeah. And we can take the bullets. Those there. Let's see here. I think that's about it. I really hate that we can't take the gun, but we're kind of out of room. We have the bullets to sell. You can take the scope. Okay. Well, we found zoms. We got another shoe. Losing our gun, unfortunately. Is there anything in it? I can't remember. No, it's empty. Okay. Yeah, we found zoms. We got something to eat. I'm assuming human meat, which I'm guessing is really, really bad. We accidentally took some painkillers. Got a bunch of cool stuff. Got another bag. So, yeah. And we'll go ahead and call us apart. We're at 23 minutes. And when we come back in part 4, I guess we'll start moving to the east and trying to find that glow. So, you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next part.